playing. And it's really fun to watch these guys develop. They're not worried about looking over their shoulder every day. They're a fun team to watch. Tonight was obviously just kind of the perfect storm of events, as good as it gets, especially with Eric Fetty. But I just wanted to say just how much fun I've been watching or how much fun I've been having watching this team. And I just hope they kind of let these guys continue to develop and just keep playing.
Yeah, Nathan, I appreciate the phone call for sure, as they were good tonight, and this is an entertaining team. That's what I keep saying. That's what I keep saying about this team. And I don't want to be the guy like pounding the drum about this team being really, really good, and then all of a sudden they start to fall off, because that absolutely can happen. There are things with this team that on paper you're concerned about. But right now, things are going well. And the bullpen is the number one red flag on this team. Well, when you're getting 7 innings twice and then 9 innings from your starters, that fixes the bullpen issue. From a hitting standpoint, the team is now hitting .262 as a team. And not that batting average is the end-all and be-all, but right now, the Cardinals are second in all of Major League Baseball with their .262 batting average. Only the Los Angeles Dodgers at .263 or better. This has been a really good hitting team this season, and they score the 10 runs today. They're able to get some hits with runners in scoring position. They go 5 for 17 today with runners in scoring position. That will certainly get it done as they come up with a whole bunch of big hits to be able to do that. All right, we've got another phone call as Rob has given us a call. Hey, Rob, you're on the Extra Innings Show.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Look, we're 2.5 games out of first place, and they're talking about
Two games.
All right, so talking about trading Sonny Gray, are you kidding me? Why would they do that? I mean, they have a chance to make postseason this year. If they trade Gray, forget about it. I mean, he's only 35 years old. I mean, God, what are they thinking? I mean, does that make any sense to you at all?
Well, first off, where are you hearing that?
I got it off of the internet just today. They say he's trade bait. The Cubs are interested or something is what I heard. But I got it off of, I don't know. I got it off my phone. I know what I saw and what I read, and it was current and updated. But are you saying?
Like, I'm not saying that you didn't see it. I'm just saying that I don't think it's a thing that's happening right now. Now, if the team starts to fall off a little bit and they're coming up on the trade deadline, then things change. But I do not see a scenario where this team, except for maybe Nolan Arenado. I think Arenado is a guy that if they get an opportunity to trade him away, no matter what else is happening, there is a possibility they could trade him. But outside of that, if this team continues to play the way they're playing right now, I would be pretty surprised if they trade off any big pieces. And don't forget, Sonny Gray wants to be here. He's got no trade protection. He wants to be here. He made that very clear in the offseason. Same thing with Wilson Contreras. Not that there's not a team out there that he wouldn't waive his no trade for, but I think we're putting the cart in front of the horse right now. I don't think this is something that's on the radar of the team right now in terms of maybe moving some of these big pieces. Appreciate the phone call, Rob. Let's grab Carlos, who's given us a call. Hey, Carlos, you are on the Extra Innings Show.
Oh, how you doing?
Doing all right.
I'm doing fine. I see him playing great right now. They took 3 series. They took the Met series. They took the Cincinnati series, and I see them pushing back to where they need to be. My main point is the bullpen help right now. I'm looking at some bullpen help. I know Helsley is consistent, but I just need somebody else to, if they do contend this year, I'm looking for somebody that can help Helsley in the ninth when they don't have anybody to push them 4-5 days.
All right, yeah, appreciate the call. Now, look, if I think that if this team remains in contention And every time we keep having these conversations, I remind myself and remind everybody else it's May 9th. They're only at the quarter pole of the season. But if things keep going in the direction that they're going right now and they're in contention, I have no doubt that they would start to pivot. And at that point, coming up on the trade deadline, they would maybe look to make the team better. I am, this is funny to say considering where the team was a week and a half ago. I like what we've seen from the bullpen here in the last week or so. Because you mentioned Ryan Helsley, and the only issue I have with Helsley is I'd like him to pitch more. They haven't had many. They were in a streak there where he just wasn't getting into the game very often. If they keep winning games, he's going to be in the game more often, which is good. Obviously, Kyle Leahy and Phil Maton have both been really good this year. Maton's got a track record. Leahy is still kind of emerging. So I think you want to have a little bit of protection for Leahy just in case he starts to fall off a bit. But that being said, even last year, where he was more of a mop-up guy, when they were in those situations where when they needed to have him in high leverage, you know what? He looked just fine in high leverage. So there's a lot of reasons to believe in Leahy. The next question, though, is who are the next guys that are available? And Steven Matz with a sub-2 ERA has done a really nice job in the bullpen. And now the Cardinals are back to a 5-man rotation. If you haven't heard that, Cardinals are going to stick with a 5-man rotation, at least for the time being. They use the 6-man rotation when they didn't have many off days because they are really concerned about health of their starting pitchers. So they wanted to give everybody an extra day. Well, essentially in the month of May, except for just the rare occasion here and there on like a Wednesday in front of the Thursday off day, just about everybody's going to get the extra day because you have an off day every single Thursday in the month of May. So they don't really need the 6th starter during that time. So Matz is back into back in the bullpen. And then the X factor here is Gordon Graceffo, because he very quickly he has emerged as the next guy that the Cardinals trust. And after everybody else that I just mentioned, Helsley, Maton, Leahy, Matz, right now, Graceffo's that next guy. And it's up to him to perform at a high level so he continues to be trusted. But it's a big if, there's no guarantee about it. If he emerges as somebody that you can trust out of the bullpen, at that point, you got 5 guys that you trust in late and close situations. And you're going to win a lot of games when you got 5 guys who you can trust in late and close. And that doesn't even include the opportunity for a JoJo Romero to really get back on track, for Ryan Fernandez to get fixed in the minor leagues, for Chris Roycroft to continue to emerge in a big way, for other young guys to step forward. There's a lot of good things that are happening with the bullpen. And I think for everything to stabilize the way I would like to see the bullpen stabilize, a lot of it is dependent upon Gordon Graceffo being that guy that you can trust. All right, let's run through some of the text messages. Again, if you want to get in here, you can call, text, tweet, or leave a message, you can leave a chat there on the video stream if you are watching us. So if you want to call or text, it's 314-436-7900. 314-436-7900. That's how you call or text. Tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. Or like I said, you can just leave a you can just leave a chat message there wherever you happen to be watching the stream. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, we're in all those spots, and we are available for you. To the text line we go. We start with a text message from the 573. Says, great game from start to finish, and Eric Fetty was outstanding with the complete game shutout and no walks. Let's keep it going. We got our guy Ball Game always comes in with his tip of the cap and raise of the glass. Says his walk to strikeout ratio kept him from getting it early on the season. Tonight he pitched like a throwback. So the tip of the cap and the raise of the glass goes to Eric Fetty. This team is doing little things that set them up for success in the future. Love to see it. From the 618, Fetty was so flipping amazing. Goes on to say, Ali made a great call to Fetty. Finish it. And did he ever? If you weren't listening, I know some people watch the broadcast and then switch over for the Extra Innings Show, or people catch us on social media. Eric Fetty said to Mike Claiborne in our post-game interview that aired during our post-game show, that he walked back into the dugout after the 8th inning, and there wasn't really much of a discussion on whether or not he would go back out for the 9th inning. Essentially, he looked at Ollie, and Ollie said, finish it. I made the joke earlier. I'll make the joke again. It's not as good a second time, but for those of you who are in my age group and you played Mortal Kombat back in the day on, I think it was Sega Genesis, if I remember correctly, you would have your opponent down, and then the big voice would come in and say, finish him. Well, it was that. It was a finish them, finish it moment for Oliver Marmol and for the Cardinals. And Eric Fetty did go out and did just that and said, finish it. And that's what he did. Text message from the 636. It says, seems like Cardinals pitching is getting better. There is room for improvement. What do you think about Miles going to the bullpen and bringing up a young pitcher? Okay, so I hate the idea of Miles Mikolas in the bullpen. Now, I will agree that there are other pitchers, and I think Miles Mikolas has done a fine job this year. He's your 5th starter, and outside of a blow-up start in Boston, he's been fine. Has been really good at times. More often than not, he's just like his last start. I think 3 runs in 5 innings. That's kind of who Miles Mikolas is. As your 5th starter, I'm good with that. Are there guys who can give you more than that? Yeah, I think Steven Matz can give you more than that. I think Michael McGreevy can give you more than that. So the next question is, well, Matt, you just said that Steven Matz can give you more as a starter. Michael McGreevy can give you more as a starter than Miles Mikolas. Why are you keeping Mikolas in the rotation? To me, I would predict that Miles Mikolas in the bullpen would be just a disaster. Just a disaster. He hasn't pitched there. I'm sure he doesn't want to pitch there. He's a veteran. He's making his money. He's had some level of success already this year. I have no reason whatsoever to believe that Mikolas would be successful as a relief pitcher. I don't want to see it. I don't think he wants to see it. I don't think the Cardinals want to see it. This is something that does not make sense. And if you say, well, just throw him down there for mop-up duty. Well, you really want a guy holding a roster spot, hoping that at some point you're going to be up or down by 7, 8, 9, 10 runs so you can go use them? Like, no, you want your guys in the bullpen to be people who can help you win games. So from a sum of the parts equation here, and the other side of this, and we've talked about this a lot. I'm not trying to just go back and repeat myself over and over, but one of the things that's going on with this team right now is they can't afford starting pitching injuries. They do not have depth beyond Steven Matz, who you want to have in the bullpen, and Michael McGreevy. A lot of teams go through 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 starters a year. If that's the Cardinals this year, if they start going into a run of starting pitching injuries, not going to be good. Not going to be good at all. They have to keep their starting pitching healthy. And if you move Mikolas out of the rotation, and my contention is the bullpen is not a spot for him. You just can't do it. And then all of a sudden, you've reduced your depth at major league ready starting pitcher by 1. And then you move Matz into the rotation, or you bring McGreevy up. And now at some point you need another starting pitcher. Somebody goes down to injury. 2 guys go down to injury. You are in trouble. And there's no answer at that point. There is zero answer on how to make that work and be successful. So if you want this team to be its best version of itself, my contention is Miles Mikolas has to be in the rotation. Not because he's the best starting pitcher, but because there's no other spot for him. And he's doing a good enough job to keep you in games. And if you just let him go because you want to give somebody else an opportunity, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble at some point when you need some starting pitching depth. 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. That's how you call. That's how you text. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. We got a ton of text messages that have rolled in. We'll continue to address those coming up in just a moment as we roll on. This is the Extra Innings Show on KMOX.
Hey, facility managers. At Graybar, we're not just one of the largest distributors of electrical and datacom parts in North America. We're your connection to help make your buildings smarter. We work with best-in-class manufacturers to supply products for wireless, security, renewable energy, lighting, and critical power solutions. And we have a network of integrators nationwide that can help make it work all together. So, the next time you're thinking about making your building smarter, think Graybar, and we'll help you get connected. Visit graybar.com/connected buildings to learn more.
When you own a business, you know there's no shortage of bold moments. At VOS, we're here to help you meet those moments in stride. Whether it's reducing your exposure to check fraud, setting up direct deposit, or helping make credit card processing seamless, VOS is here for you, your employees, and your customers. Are you ready for a better banking experience? Then make the bold move and switch to VOS today. Visit bankwithvos.com. Member FDIC.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Now, back to the Verizon Extra Innings Show.
We are rolling on after the Cardinals get a really good win over Washington. They win by a 10-0 score. If you're just now joining us, the big stat of the day is that it is the first complete game shutout by a Cardinals starter since Jordan Montgomery did it in August of 2022 on the road against Chicago. And from a pitching standpoint, the scoreless inning streak, it now stands at 21 innings as the Cardinals get the win today against Washington. Welcome back into the program. If you want to chime in on what we're talking about, multiple ways to get connected with the program. You can call or text 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air, or you can just leave a message on our video stream if you are watching that way, and we'll see that message as we go along with the program. So that is available to you as well. If you don't know what we're talking about there, for most of our sports programming here at KMOX, especially since we've jumped over to being on FM as well, we've just expanded a bunch of things, and that includes our video streaming. So Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, we're there. If you want to watch me talk, you can do that, and that's available for you at KMOX Sports. You can find it on my personal Twitter at Matt Pauley on air. Multiple ways to get that, but the best way, I think, is at KMOX Sports on YouTube. If you like and subscribe, then anytime we go live, and not just on the Extra Innings Show, but Redbird Rush Hour, Gas House Gang, Sports Open Line, Sports on a Sunday Morning, all of our KMOX sports shows, they all stream on video. And anytime we do go live, you get a notification right there that we are live. So go check us out on YouTube, and we'd certainly appreciate that for sure. All right, text message from the 618 says, no, check that, from the 573. So if you're not fired up after this game, you need to look in the mirror and look at yourself as a fan. Fans need to show up and support our guys. Says, I'm realistic. Actually, that's another, hold on. Our text system is terrible. Says, in 2006, 2011 can happen again and send Mo out a hero, and the haters of Mo will still hate. But Mo, to me, he is a future Hall of Famer. So a couple things there. To me, the ceiling on this team, the absolute ceiling, if everything goes right for this team, and it's still a little early to talk about this, but you know what? They're winning a bunch of games in a row, so it's fun. The absolute ceiling on this team is kind of finding a way to steal the division, where it's an NL Central that's just not very good, and you find a way to win the division by playing kind of the way that you've played here recently. At some point, pitching will drop off a little bit, you would think, but hopefully some of these young hitters continue to emerge and take a step forward. So from like a championship perspective, this team is still, they don't hold up with the Dodgers, with the Phillies, with the Mets, even though they just had some success against the Mets. So I think, for me, the conversation is, do they have enough wins in the bag this year to steal a playoff spot? And I don't know. That's what I'm going to be most interested in. I think what we have seen from them recently is an encouraging sign for sure. And the fact that there are so many young guys on the team, that can go one of two directions. That can either be really good because you got a bunch of young dudes and they're just going to get better and better and better as the year goes along, or you got a bunch of young dudes who have not performed at a super high level over 162 games, and they hit a wall at some point and you start to fall off. Either of those things can happen. So again, trying to be fair about everything, either of those things can happen. I think it's fun. I've mentioned this a couple times, and my boss, Steve Moore, brought this up in a text conversation that we have a little text group that him and Kevin Wheeler and Tom Ackerman, and we all text each other during most games. And I thought it was a really interesting point. I've mentioned it a couple times, but I'll mention it again and this is one of those situations where maybe we got it wrong, myself included, but just about everybody said what I'm talking about. When the season got started, one of the common narratives about this team was they will go as Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker go. That if this team is going to outperform expectations, that it's going to be connected to those young hitters really emerging and becoming legitimate middle of the order run producing bats. Well, right now at 9:50 p.m. on May 9th, this team is overperforming compared to the expectations that were placed upon the team before the season got started. And they are doing it basically without major contributions from either Jordan Walker or Nolan Gorman. Those two guys at this point in time are not doing much of anything. And Walker's getting the opportunity to play most days. They've not they let him sit for a couple days as he was working on some stuff with Brant Brown. I don't think that they have given Nolan Gorman the opportunity that they would like to be able to give him, as Nolan Arenado's on this team, and there's some other guys who are doing some things that have stopped him. I mean, Gorman still played a fair amount, but for a while there, Jordan Walker was in the everyday lineup. No matter what, he was there. And that's fallen off a little bit here recently, but they gave Walker a bunch of runway, and it's still there. For Gorman, he's never totally gotten that opportunity, and I'm sure they would like to do that, but I think it's easier said than done with the way things have kind of played out this year. Text message from the 618. This comes from Teresa. She says, I'm realistic. I'm not dreaming of the World Series. I take one game at a time, but I'm enjoying the heck out of this team right now. I love these guys, and they should be proud and keep doing their best and not worry about history, just one game at a time. It's an entertaining team. That's what I keep saying. And I probably say this every game. You're probably getting sick of me saying this at this point in time. You're getting sick of me telling you that it's an entertaining team. But everything kind of comes back to that. And that's one of the things where even if the runway season, the transition season, the youth thing, even if that hasn't totally played out the way they wanted it to play out because Nolan Arenado's around and just, it's been sort of tough to do all that. Even if it hasn't happened in practicality, what has happened is I think ownership of this club has shifted a little bit to some of the younger guys. This is Brendan Donovan's team. This is Lars Nootbaar's team. Mason Wynn has a very big role on this team. Like the core of this team, they still respect and appreciate somebody like Nolan Arenado, and he's still a big part of what they want to be able to do for sure. But it feels like the ownership of this team has shifted a little bit. And these guys are playing hard. They are, I'll say, like, I try not to be critical of fans who choose not to pay attention, choose not to go to games, want to be upset about stuff that maybe I don't think they should really be upset about. Like, that's your right. But the one thing I would say about this team, without a doubt, is that they are worth you paying attention. They are worth you being a fan of. They represent, if they represent St. Louis, or if their job is to play in a way where they are respecting the game so you are able to appreciate them, well, yeah, that's they are doing all of that and more. So and I think people are taking notice. I do. I think people are taking notice. I thought there were a few more butts and seats here on this last homestand, and I think more, if they have a respectable road trip here, look, things could go bad, right? They're on the road. They haven't been very good on the road. They won 10-0 tonight. If things come off the rails here before these next 8 games wrap up, maybe we're having a little bit of a different conversation. But I think if they continue to play good baseball, we're going to continue to see more and more people get involved and watch this team. Text message from 573 asked if you are able to listen to recordings of this show. That's a great question. Yes, you are. We podcast this show. It is always available by going to KMOX.com or going to the Odyssey app and finding the Cardinals Conversations podcast feed. And you can always listen back to this show at your leisure. Obviously, we like it when you're watching live because we're able to interact with you for sure. But if you miss it, also from a video standpoint, you can go to our YouTube channel at KMOX Sports and you can rewatch it. Or you can go to any of the Twitter feeds and you can rewatch it as well. So yes, there are multiple ways to watch or listen to the archive of the program if you want to do so. Got some late games, you need something for the morning, Extra Innings Show is always available for you. What's on Deck is sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have the very best, chesterfieldfence.com. Game 2 of this 3-game series going to be coming up tomorrow afternoon as the Cardinals will send Andre Pallante to the mound. This is a big start. This is a big start for Andre Pallante. He's been just a little bit off here recently. He's had some success pitching in Washington for sure, especially with what we've seen from Michael McGreevy. I think if you see a couple more less than average starts from Pallante, that conversation might really kick up a bit about Pallante going to Memphis and McGreevy being brought back up. But Pallante can quiet that conversation by pitching well tomorrow. 2-2, 4.75 ERA. Trevor Williams is going to make the start for the Nationals, 2-3 with a 5.86 ERA. 3:05 first pitch tomorrow. That means our coverage is going to begin at 2:10. Really appreciate everybody being tuned in to the program tonight. Again, the Cardinals, they put together one heck of a night. They end up winning by a 10-0 score, and Eric Fetty with the complete game shutout, first complete game of his career, first complete game shutout for the Cardinals since 2022. It was a good night. The Cardinals have now won 6 straight games. We'll talk to you tomorrow for more Cardinals baseball right here on KMOX.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Years ago, doctors said I'd never be independent after a bad car accident. Well, I proved them wrong. When